Did anybody find that highly unusual? Does anybody find it unusual that Lance Twiggs had an FBI detail? How many witnesses in murder cases have FBI details? Particularly witnesses who sat around the living room while the alleged gunman is... First, I want to get into the video of someone who alleges to be a family member of Lance Twiggs. If you guys do not remember Lance Twiggs is the, what do we call him? The alleged trans furry lover of Tyler Robinson. But I don't believe that anymore. I'm starting to really not believe that at all. I've seen no evidence he's a furry, except one time I saw him in a hood that had ears on it. Guess what? Like every person in America wore something like that at some point. I'm not buying that. I'd like to see him in some kind of like moose costume. You want to be a furry? I need a rack, right? I need not that kind of rack. I need a moose rack. I need an elephant trunk as you wander around. If you're going to tell me you're a furry, I want to see the whole costume. I don't just want to see you wearing a hood with a couple of dog ears on it. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. If he was actually a furry, there'd be pictures of him all over the place looking like a furry. I'm also not buying that he's a lover of Tyler Robinson. I'm just not. I see no evidence of it. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe I can be convinced later. All right, this purports to be. Now, a couple of things. One, I can't find the full video. So if somebody has the full video, please, by all means, send it to me. I can't find it. Number two, I can't find who this is. I can't find how she's related to these people. Is she? Now, we'll point out in a minute. I don't know how close she really can possibly be. But if anybody has the full video, I looked all over News Nation. I looked all over Twitter. I saw only this clip. Only this clip. Yeah, this is a creepy freeze frame because it's kind of fading in from... Is that Charlie Kirk? It's fading in from somebody, and it's this woman is still here. But let me get started on this. You guys, I might stop this a few times. I'm not just going to play it all the way through because there's several things she says, and I'm like, whoa, it took me back. Hold on just a second.
I mean, both of them are super smart. I mean, Lance was, I do know that. And I remember, you know, he was a, I don't know, concert pianist. Like his talent for piano music was off the charts, like not normal. It was very impressive. And that's kind of what I've heard about Tyler, is that he was just so smart and it's just a shame that these kids that had so much potential and such a bright future.
What do you think changed?
Okay, a couple things. One is, okay, he played the piano. What does that have to do? What does that have to do with the alleged murder? I mean, you guys gave us a 2-minute and 39-second clip, News Nation. You spent 36 seconds of it telling me the furry played the piano. Like in terms of return on investment, like I invested 40 seconds of my life, and I just invested 40 seconds of all your lives. And the only thing I learned is he played piano. Okay, great. A lot of people play piano. The second thing I learned is this guy showed up to the interview in his pajamas. I could not believe it when they went to him. I thought, why is he sitting like that? Why is he wearing that? You guys couldn't get a closer cut of this guy? I mean, just imagine for a second that the cut was like where his lapel mic is. And it was just, but I mean, they have him sitting in front of the phone that hung on my mom's kitchen wall in 1983, and the thermometer set at 72. Were you guys in a huge hurry? Was this a huge hurry? You guys couldn't stop and grab a shirt that fit? You couldn't throw on an undershirt under that bad boy? It's almost like he just woke up. So I don't want to get too carried away on this guy, but I almost fell out of my chair today. When they cut to this guy, I thought, well, why is he sitting in front of that phone? Why is he wearing that shirt? All right, so let me get back to it.
I don't, and then being as antisocial as they were, from my understanding of, playing these games and being a part of this Discord group. She's just spouting off talking points. There were like 3 talking points right there. And that's when I thought, I don't believe this woman. I don't even think she's related to him. And if she is, I don't think she's like a cousin. I don't think she's the mother, for example, of Lance Twiggs. Oh, they're so antisocial, talking point 1. All they did was sit around and play games, talking point 2. In this Discord group, talking point 3. You don't even know what a Discord group is, lady. You can't. You didn't use it properly. Like, listen to it again. Listen again to her response to this. And then being as antisocial as they were, from my understanding of, playing these games and being a part of this Discord.
Playing these games and being part of this Discord. Do you even know who they are? Have you met either of these people? Is that why you're hiding behind the shadow? Because if you truly are related to these people and you're close to them at all, that shadow is not protecting your identity. Everyone who knows them will know who you are. So I don't believe this at all. I don't like anonymous sources. I don't. I understand why sometimes they're necessary. I genuinely understand why sometimes they're necessary, particularly if you think your life would be in jeopardy. Like if you're speaking out on a mob boss, whatever. But if you're going to come in here and say, my understanding is they played video games and hung out on Discord, they were so antisocial. What? And this isn't even the best part. We're just getting started.
Group, it just, they didn't seem like they were in a real world.
There's text messages between Tyler and Lance where they're texting after the event. A lot of people find them unusual.
The world that they were in, like this gaming world, like that was a normal way that they kind of spoke. That,
ladies and gentlemen, the normal way the gaming world they were in, that's the way they spoke. Are you telling me these guys are playing Grand Theft Auto or whatever game they're playing and they're my loving it up and down the video game? Nice shot, my love. That's the way they spoke. Oh, I see you've left the vehicle in Grand Theft Auto. I see you've left the vehicle. I'll have to retrieve my weapon from the vehicle, my love. What does that have to do? Nobody speaks that way. And you can't come with this and expect me to believe this is evidence. You know what? I'll get to my conclusion when we're done with this. I don't want to tell you my conclusion of why this exists and why this is happening right now. But I have a very strong opinion about why this interview at this time. Very strong opinion.
this wasn't an abnormal. The way they spoke wasn't abnormal.
No, the way they spoke absolutely was abnormal. You can't say, oh, that's the way they spoke on the video games, and then say, oh, no, but it's not abnormal. No, it's one or the other. It's one or the other. You either speak that way or you don't. If you do speak that way, you are highly unusual. Do I need to pull them up and read from them? My wife walked in the other day, and I listen to weird stuff. Like, I'm fascinated by languages. And I'm listening to two fluent speakers of Old English, and they're going back and forth. I have no idea what they're saying. No idea whatsoever what they're saying. You can barely understand the accent. You can barely understand anything that's going on. And they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she walks in and she's like getting ready. I don't know. It may have been towards bed. She's getting ready for bed. She's putting stuff on the nightstand, all that. And she looks over and she goes, what are you listening to? And with a very straight face, I was like, oh, I'm listening to two Old English speakers talking in Old English back and forth. They understand each other. Well, do you understand any of them? No. Then why are you listening to it at all? And I was like, I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by it because it's not normal. Nobody's fascinated by the normal. The way they spoke isn't normal. And it doesn't sound like she even knew that they played video games. It's like, well, I heard they played video games, and I guess that's how they talk on video games.
There have been a lot of questions about where Lance is now, whether he's in the FBI protection program. It's been a big mystery. He kind of has disappeared.
Yeah, my understanding was for...
Wait. Your understanding? Are you family or not, lady? What is this my understanding business?
He kind of has disappeared.
Yeah, my understanding was for the first few weeks, because there were so many threats against his family that and him that they had. My understanding is they did have a little bit of FBI detail, and they kind of moved around a little bit, but they're not anymore. He's with his family.
Did anybody find that highly unusual? Does anybody find it unusual that Lance Twiggs had an FBI detail? How many witnesses in murder cases have FBI details? Particularly witnesses who sat around the living room while the alleged gunman is engraving bullets. You remember this in the text messages? Oh, my love, you remember when I was engraving all those bullets? What? Yes, my love. I was sitting around engraving bullets. We were supposed to be playing Magic the Gathering, and I was engraving bullets. That, guys, if you're in a house with someone who's engraving bullets and those bullets go on to be used in a crime, you're in on it. I don't care. I don't care what you say. It's not normal. If you see anybody engraving a bullet, run for the hills, get out of the house, call the police, call the FBI. Hey, I live with a guy. He's engraving bullets. Someone's going to die. Someone's in grave danger. That doesn't entitle you to an FBI detail unless we go back and think about who were those cars that allegedly were at the house of Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson in the days leading up to the events at Utah Valley University on September 10th. You remember the neighbors talked about the cars? There were cars with out-of-state tags. There were cars with dark tinted windows. Who were in those cars? Who were those people? It's a question we should know the answer to by now, but we don't. Instead, we have this gal with her shaded out face who thinks, well, where is Lance Twiggs? Well, it's my understanding he had an FBI detail for several weeks, but now I think it's my understanding he might be with his family somewhere. Well, lady, what are you doing on TV? What are you doing in this random hotel room with a wall phone? If you're in a building with a wall phone, get out. That's scary. Yeah, something's gone terribly awry.
Will he still cooperate with the investigation from what you know?
I don't know. When I first found out about how he was taken in and talked to by the police, I know that they said that he was very cooperative, but they had to go get him and bring him in. He didn't.
They're asking if he was cooperative. Did you hear his question? I might have cut it off a little too early. Let me back up just to hear.
He's with his family.
Will he still cooperate with the investigation from what you know?
I don't know.
Then why are you here? Why are you in the room? You don't know if he's cooperating with the FBI. You don't know if he's with his family. It's your understanding he had an FBI detail. It's your understanding he's with his family somewhere. Who are you? Why is this on television? I have an opinion on why it's on television, but I am very, very concerned about my opinion. I'm very concerned about what it might mean.
When I first found out about how he was taken in and talked to by the police, I know that they said that he was very cooperative, but they had to go get him and bring him in. He didn't voluntarily go in and say, hey, I heard about this and I have some knowledge. He had to go in, then he handed things over when they asked for him, but he didn't give up any information until he had to.
So why did he get an FBI detail? If this is true, and I don't know if this is true because I don't know who this woman is, but if this is true and he didn't go to the FBI and say, hey, I'm aware of who killed Charlie Kirk. I know who pulled the trigger. It was my good friend, Tyler. I have knowledge of it. I have specific knowledge of it. He confessed to me. Here is the text. Here's what he said. No. Instead, he destroyed evidence at the request of an alleged killer. Remember the note under the keyboard that they had to recreate because he allegedly destroyed it? At that point, you are an enemy. You are a criminal. You are an accessory after the fact. You're deleting evidence. You're destroying evidence. You are destroying evidence. If there's a confession and it's written down and you tear it up or burn it or throw it away or whatever, flush it down the toilet, whatever you did with it, you are a criminal. Why do you get an FBI detail? Why aren't you charged with a crime? It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not saying any of this happened because I don't know that I believe any of this. But I look at this and I think, well, wait a minute. Assuming she is family and assuming what she's saying is true, why did he get an FBI detail? Why is he in some sort of, I think that's kind of like not protective custody, meaning you're in custody, but that's protective. The government of the United States is protecting someone who helped cover up the murder of Charlie Kirk. Do you see the problem that I have with this story, if it's true? It's a massive problem, and it's the first time I've heard that. Let me finish it off here, and then I'll give you my opinion on why this is coming out.
There are so many theories out there, and I'm sure you've seen them. People think other people are involved or another government was involved. I mean, you're kind of in the middle of this. How confident are you that police have the right guy?
Is she kind of in the middle? She doesn't sound like she knows much. So why are you asking her the ultimate legal conclusion? Why are you asking her what the jury is going to have to decide? She doesn't even, she says it's her understanding he had an FBI detail. It's her understanding he's now with his family. As far as I know, he played piano. He was pretty smart. As far as I know, he doesn't sound like she knows a whole lot. So why are you asking her to examine all of the evidence the FBI has, to examine all the evidence the Utah police have and come to a legal conclusion? We haven't even had an evidentiary hearing. But listen, she gives it.
Tyler Robinson.
100%. They have the right guy. Both.
100% they have the right guy. And then it abruptly cuts off. 100% they have the right guy. Here's my belief of why they are playing this. Because News Nation is, let's be honest, that's not independent journalism. This is not, News Nation is not out there like scouring for independent media. Like they're just transcribing what the FBI and the CIA and everybody tells them. This is state media. This tells me they believe they're losing. They're watching the polls that we put up. They're watching the podcasts that Candace and others are doing, that we're doing here. And they realize they do not have any control over this narrative whatsoever. They've lost it. I do believe this was a sloppy event. Probably was planned quite well. It was supposed to look like a chest shot. The neck was not supposed to be involved. He was supposed to be carried off immediately, and then the doctor was going to, it was going to be real quick, boop, 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 nice and easy. And so you have a real problem that's developed, because here it is 4 months and 5 days after the fact. 4 months and 5 days after the fact. And we're still talking about it. And not only that, we're still breaking news. We're still covering new things. We're still finding new details in pictures. We're still finding new details in the videos. I think it was Sam Parker had just the other day where he saw Brian Harpole come up, and it appeared either pull something out or turn something on the radio of Dan Flood. It looked like it to me. I think he's correct, my opinion. So all this time goes by. We were not supposed to find the signal from Dan Flood. We weren't supposed to notice Rick Cutler pulling on his sleeve. We weren't supposed to slow down the video so much that we noticed the shirt came up before the wound appeared in the neck. We weren't supposed to notice there was fragmented plastic and tempered glass all over the car and all over the ground. We weren't supposed to slow down this 60 frame per second video and watch the fragmented glass fall out of his shirt. We weren't supposed to see the fragmented glass and plastic on his hand from the camera behind that Terrell Farnsworth showed Candace Owens. We weren't supposed to see anything.